Hello everybody, welcome back to Moon Mama Musings. I am Katie-O, and this is an astrology peephole for today, Tuesday the 8th of June 2021. We are still a waning crescent moon in the sign of Taurus, approaching very near. We have 2 days until the new moon solar eclipse in Gemini, or the new moon on crack, as I like to call it. Today, my dears, is a day of expression. Express yourself. Express yourself. I am getting Freddie Mercury. I want to break free. I want to break free. Yesterday we were feeling big vibes of wanting to be free, of wanting to be fluid, of wanting to move around. It's still feeling that way. And now, today, your throat chakra is singing, my darlings. We have got mega vibes of singing your truths, of expressing yourself, of being honest with yourself, of being honest in general, of singing on the hilltops, of telling everybody about these triumphs that you've made, about this new you. Your glow up is just, wow. People are turning their heads. It's a beautiful energy, my dears, an absolutely beautiful energy. We've been thrown quite a few curveballs, and this moon in Taurus is the motherly energy of Taurus has told us to stop. Just stop everything that you're doing and turn within and love yourself. Think about what's going on with you, and think about all of the ways that you feel about the things that are long term in your life. What works, what doesn't? What do you need to change? What do you have to turn on its head? What do you need to keep? But what hasn't worked for a long time, and what do you got to get real about? So today we have, let's see, three aspects that I would like to speak to you guys about, with a little bit of a reminder about another couple. But it's all tips of the hat. Remember, astrology is kind of, it can be up to interpretation depending on the astrologer or astrologist that you speak to. Obviously, for example, the example I gave a few days ago is a conjunction is when the planets are on top of each other, right? 0 degrees of separation, one on top of the other. But some astrologers will give a little bit of a plus and minus, right? And sometimes the energies can affect for longer. This is also up to personal interpretation, right? You could be affected very differently by each of these transits. You could be affected none at all, or you could be affected quite a bit. When I talk about different planets or just asteroids, if you know your chart, you can see where they are in the list of sort of how things are processed for you, you know? For example, if your moon is in Gemini, like mine is, and we have a new moon in a new solar moon eclipse crazy nonsense in Gemini, guess what? Your emotions and your subconscious is probably going nuts right now. Like mine is. And so on and so forth. Anyway, remember, this channel is all about learning, right? I'm still learning. I am very much an amateur. I'm very much learning all of this stuff. I am not perfect. I'm transparent with you guys. I am learning all of this as much as you guys are. But there you have it. Take it as it resonates for you. I do this partially intuitively, partially actually research-based, obviously. Okay, let's get to the astrology. What's going on? The moon in the sign of Taurus is making a sextile with Mars in the sign of Cancer. All right, so I feel like Mars is finally getting used to Cancer energy. Mars was really not pleased in Cancer. But it's almost like once Venus came and joined him, all right, once Venus came and joined him last week on the 2nd, he started to feel a little better. Just in time for him to leave the sign. He's leaving the sign of Cancer to go into the sign of Leo, where he'll be much happier on the 11th. But the good news is for the next few days, he's going to give us a little bit of a break. Just a little bit of a break. And I'd like to point out to you guys that Mars's opposition with Pluto is still, we're still feeling the effects of that. So remember, this can be leading to dramatic arguments, hurt feelings, but this is the major power struggle, right? This is a major power struggle. So it's almost like the Pluto's influence here has gotten Cancer, has just kind of beaten it into submission so that it feels okay in the sign now. And it's being comforted by Venus, which is holding its hand and going, everything's going to be okay, honey. So Mars is the game plan of our soul, right? How we act on things. It's the warrior. It's how we take action. And being in a sextile with the moon in Taurus is kind of a beautiful energy. So Cancer is the sign that's ruled by the moon. It is very lunar energies, and because Mars is so get up and go, motion, action, it doesn't really like the not stagnant but static sign of Cancer. Super watery energy too. Mars is pretty fiery. Water and fire don't get along. It makes steam. Yeah. Anyway. This particular transit, or this particular aspect of the moon sextiling Mars, is a beautiful willingness to compromise and problem solve when it comes to your home, whatever that means for you. It can be your job. It's your home. It's the things that, the place that you lay your head. And I mean, home is wherever I'm with you. It could be a person. It could be your family. It could be your friend group. It could be your actual house. It could be your sense of, it could be your emotional standing about your sense of home. And especially this transit is very much dealing with your emotions and your subconscious, right? This can also be a great time to entertain. So if you do like to have people over and cook dinners for people or have people over for wine, go for it today. I mean, I know it's Tuesday, or it's, what is it, a Wednesday, but whatever, that's cool, right? Wait, is it a Wednesday? No, it's a Tuesday. Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. Anyway. Anyway. Either way, this is going to be a really nice way because like this transformation that Mars has gone through. Remember, Mars and Pluto opposed each other. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It's in retrograde, looking back at the things that don't work for it in its structures and ambitions anymore because of the sign of Capricorn. So when Mars opposed Pluto, they were doing a tug of war. And let me tell you, Pluto is a far off planet. It's like, I'm getting the vibe of, it's got a lot of patience. It's so far away that it always gets the information last. It's always left out of stuff, and it doesn't mind sitting and waiting. All right? So Mars wants to go, go, go. They were pulling an either end, and Mars just kind of realized, you know what, I can't fight this. Especially yesterday, we had that vibe of like, the wheel will turn whether you like it or not. Choose which fucks to give, yeah? So Mars is finally being beaten into submission by Pluto, and now we're getting this subconscious emotional sort of, like, he's going, okay, fine. I'll deal with the moon energy now, all right? I'll deal with it. What do we need to do in order to make this work? Yeah? He was resisting it, but now he's got Venus holding his hand, and Pluto's kicked him in the teeth. He's got a big black eye, but he's going, all right, I can compromise. We can make changes. Let's work on this, all right? Let's work on this. It's really nice. They want to know, they want to make a plan. They want to make a plan based on our subconscious, based on our emotions. How do we feel? What are we driven towards? What's our gut instinct about where we need to go or what we need to do? And how do we get there? All right. So we also have the moon in Taurus making a trine with Pluto, speak of the devil, who is in retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So a trine is a lucky, expansive, supportive element or aspect. It's not going to create change, but it makes the structure for it, right? So this is our transformation of our emotional sense as we've made all these, we are going through a massive time of flux right now with these, especially we're almost at the new moon, right? We've gotten rid of a lot of stuff in our full moon on crack that was on the, what was it, the 22nd? Sorry, it's 26th of May. And now we're almost at the new moon, which is about starting a new cycle, a new moon cycle, a new energy, making your, it's all about manifestation. It's about asking the universe for what you want. It's about new, right? So this is like, you're feeling your emotions deeply, and now you're unafraid to express them. You know that it might upset people, but you're really understanding now so much about your emotional sense that you know you can't make compromises anymore, and that you see now where, again, like I said, this power struggle with Mars is it's like it's been beaten into submission. You're not willing to compromise. You know what's right for you. You're starting to get that yesterday's soup with the sun is making us truly be authentic in the exterior, and we know where we can't compromise anymore. We know that there are just, if places are not meant to compromise, if they're going to be in stubborn Mars energy like it was, and they're not going to be willing to compromise, then unfortunately there may not be space in your life for them. Now, this is beautiful though, because it's in a very controlled way. Before Mars was all outbursty, right? Mars and Pluto doing their opposition made it very, very volatile. We were fighting energy, yeah? Big fighting energy. But this is no longer, there's no more outbursts because they've integrated, because they've calmed each other down, because they figured it all out, because they're not pulling each other so much anymore. Now we've got this calm, controlled understanding. All right. So the analogy that I'm getting right now is that the moon, who is in motherly Taurus, is being a mediator. They're being Switzerland for this opposition between Pluto and Mars. Those two planets stopped pulling on either end of the string, but it's because the moon came in and said, hey guys, let's just stop and hone in on ourselves here. Let's stop looking at everybody else around. Let's stop comparing ourselves to other people. Let's stop be always competing. Let's stop fighting. Let's get rid of that Seven of Wands energy where we're ready to get anybody. Let's get rid of all of this. All right. Let's talk. Let's sit down and talk. Right. So the moon was like, all right, we're going to do a sextile with Mars and give it a little bit of time to talk. And then I'm going to make a trine with Pluto and we're going to have a little bit of a talk. And they're going to sit down and we're just going to figure out this power struggle that they've been going through. So it's gorgeous. And yeah. So yeah. Yep. That's kind of the yeah. All right. Moving on. The power struggle is being sorted out by the moon. Our subconscious and our intuition and our emotions are giving us hits in order to untangle this Mars opposing Pluto vibe. All right. Now, we also have the moon making a sextile with Neptune. The moon and Phoebe Buffet are hanging out. All right. So I'd like to note as well that Mercury and Neptune are still making their square, which is basically they're having a confusion party because Mercury is in retrograde in its home sign of Gemini, which makes it like pretend to be what people expect it to be. Yeah, it's like not actually acting authentically in its true best expression of itself. It's just doing what people expect it to be. And right now, people expect it to be in retrograde and act like a shithead. So guess what? It's acting like a shithead. And we have the moon in a sextile with it. So yeah, it's... Sorry, the moon is in sextile with Neptune. So this is a hyper creative sign. This is a hyper intuitive. Again, empathy is going to be really, 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 really beautiful. It's going to be super intuitive. You're going to feel inquisitive. Probably you're going to ask big questions to yourself, but this is an internal thing, right? You're going to be asking yourself lots of existential stuff like, what's my purpose? Or like, what does this person mean in my life? Or, like the big questions that you can't ask anybody else. I mean, you've been trying to ask anybody else, but this is remember, we're Taurus moon, we're nurturing ourselves now. We're being motherly to ourselves. So you might want to meditate today. You might want to have a good conversation with your higher self or your guides. You might want to get a tarot reading or pull out your own cards if you pull them. You might want to go see your therapist. If you deal with a therapist or if you have a friend like that's confidant, go for it. But this is going to be very much that you're seeking answers within. I'm getting this vibe of you've already got all the answers you need. You might just need confirmation from an exterior source, but everything that you need is within. So do your meditation, and they're saying the best way to get to these answers is by answering them for yourself. But it's okay to ask for help, right? We're balancing still our feminine energy, and it's okay to reach out and ask for a hand when you are just feeling confused, right? We have this confusion soup. So if you feel too Neptunian, if you feel too foggy window, ask for help, but try to do it yourself first, okay? It's like in lifeguarding or in diving, with rescue diving or stuff, you always try and throw out a life preserver to somebody who's drowning, or reach something out to them before you get in the water and try and help them, because they can drown you very easily, right? So this is it's kind of that I mean, I know that's kind of not a very good analogy, but either way, try and help yourself before you ask for other people's help. Look within. If you're still confused, then ask for somebody who you trust, right? Make sure that you ask somebody who you trust. Neptunian energy, Mercury in retrograde. Measure 16 times and cut once, my darlings. Also, remember yesterday we had this vibe of the moon making a conjunction with Uranus, giving us this need to be in constant flux, needing us to again, I want to break free. It's really wanting to just be who we are and like do whatever we want and like not be held down by balls and chains and blah, 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 all that jazz. So you might have started all kinds of little projects yesterday and now you're sitting there with like all of these tasks that are half started going, fuck, where do I start? I get this idea of like you said yesterday, you're like, I'm going to clean my house. And you started filling up the mop bucket while you were Windexing the windows, but then you got distracted and started organizing your cupboard. And then you realized the water bucket was overflowing, so you undid that, but it made a mess in the bathroom, so you started cleaning up the mess in the bathroom. And when you ran out of paper towels, you went back to the cupboard to get some, but you saw that you had not finished reorganizing that cupboard, so you started doing. It's literally like you're feeling like, oh my God, you've just got so many pots open now and you don't know which one to play with. So you're going to feeling very hard to commit to one task. You're going to have a hard time figuring out what to do, but you're in hyper creative mode. So I'm getting the best way to deal with this is just like, honestly, try as much as you can to go with the flow. But that's easier said than done, obviously. So try and go with the flow. But whatever you do, just very make sure to be very aware that Mercury retrograde energy and Neptune, all of this stuff is just, it's making things confusing right now. So just like be very careful, measure 16 times, cut once, yeah? Okay. Let's pull a card from the Starseed Oracle to see where we're at on our journey today on the 8th of June 2021. We had yesterday was the 7th, so it was 765, a countdown to something. Let me know if that countdown actually brought you some presents. But let's see what we got today, or for any of you guys watching this video at a later date. What message do we have for the collective from the team of teams about today, the 8th of June 2021? Oh, we do have some Neptunian energy going on. They're feeling indecisive. They don't know what to say. Mercury retrograde energy too. If you feel like you don't know what to say, don't worry, guys. It's very normal. Okay, what do we got? Okay, so they are just a little bit of a callback to some energies that we've already visited. They're reminding us that we're still working on things, right? And we're still tweaking stuff. So we still have to keep a mind in the tasks that we've not finished yet, right? We started tasks, we've not finished it. What are the tasks that we've started? Well, Earth is all about being part of this world, but not of it. Being very comfortable, enjoying experiences, but not getting too attached to them, right? So we are still struggling with the starseed journey in that we feel like an alien. We feel like we don't belong sometimes. And we're trying to navigate the way that we sort of deal with our exterior world, but don't let it affect the way that we see ourselves. I'm getting this idea of like, if you have, say you start making jewelry, right? And you make this beautiful piece of jewelry and you start to present it to your friends. And if you take the opinions of your friends on this project that you've taken on as a reflection and be all end all of you, saying like, if my friends don't like my jewelry, I am worthless. This is the kind of energy you want to avoid. Just because your friends don't like the jewelry you make doesn't mean that you're worthless. It's this whole, I think it's Chi Duvain that says, you know, you could be the most beautiful, juicy peach, but there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like peaches, right? We also have deep cellular healing. So you guys have some very, 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 very deep ingrained old patterns that you deal with, whether this be avoidance, whether this be abandonment issues, whether this be self-sabotage, whether this be about overworking yourself, stifling your emotions, whatever it is. You've got some very, very, very deep-seated cycles that you're trying to break right now. And they're saying, don't give up. We know that it's hard. Don't give up on those cycles. They are unraveling. They are unraveling, all right? Physical and emotional healing is coming. It just doesn't happen overnight. But the energy that they want to talk to you guys today about is breath of the cosmos. My will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. So the message I'm getting from here is they're saying, stop trying to micromanage everything. All those freaking tasks you got to doing yesterday with this whole Uranus and the moon thing, all of these little pots that you've opened, all of the pies that you have your fingers in now, you're micromanaging everything. You're trying to control things that you have no place controlling, all right? They're saying, listen to the universe and let us take the reins, okay? Give us your fears. Give us the shit that you can't deal with. Give us these problems that you're, like I said earlier, beginning of all of this, is if you feel like you are feeling too Neptunian, ask for help, okay? Let's see what the book has to say. Breath of the Cosmos. When we rely on our own will, we're micromanaging the universe and resisting the natural flow of life. Yeah? We're not trusting the mysterious breath of life. We're rejecting the great cosmic intelligence and relying instead on our personal strength. When we do the power struggle, when we do this, we find ourselves attempting to bend things to our will. We spend our time forcing, pushing, and living from a space of trying to, which I'd like to point out is a lack mentality. Everyone around us can feel it, and the universe can too. You're being called to stop micromanaging the universe and trust the breath of life, to surrender to the greater will that God has for you, to move from my will to thy will. When you surrender to the greater will of life, you begin dancing with the rest of life. When you bow to the great mystery and say, please use me, please show me the way, little by little you find yourself living your most fulfilled, authentic life. When you surrender your personal will, when you relinquish control and release the way you think things should be and surrender to the greater will, you will find yourself being led. You begin breathing the breath of life. Starseed activation. Place the card on the portal of your heart and whisper the following. Say it with me now, friends. I'm willing to stop relying on my own strength and personal agenda and instead surrender to the breath of life. Dear God, help me move from my will to thy will. Please lead me. Please show me the way. Guys, if you need help, ask for it. But the biggest thing is just, like I said, the best way to navigate all of this is go with the flow. Surrender to the greater will of the universe. Remember yesterday, Horus is protecting us. We have got a massive, beautiful support system. And they're asking us to trust them because they've got our best interest at heart. They always do. All right? Nothing that's meant for you will pass you by. You're a goddamn unicorn. You're going to get everything you want. So stay in a high vibe, my friends. Continue nurturing and loving yourself, and just try and go with the flow as much as possible. And if you need help, just ask for it. That is the moral of the story for today. And that is it for me. So I will be back on Instagram Live tomorrow for the moon transit to Gemini. Very exciting. Yep. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'm so sorry for anything you're going through if I made you feel a certain way. Thank you very much for being a lovely, lovely, lovely human and making yourself a beautiful part of this collective, or energy circuit as I like to call it. I love you. I love you to the moon and back and beyond, to the infinity and beyond, to the stars, to everywhere and everything and all things and nothing at all. And I accept this and I hope you do too. But if not, that's cool. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.